Welcome to Disaster Party Podcast. As always, this is Rob Cedeno, joined by my co-host.
Oh, Daddy, it's your boy Andy Bivians. That's Bivians, the one true Whoa Daddy of Bivians, INC. And listen, tonight we bring entertainment to you, because tonight we're on episode 42, Whoa Daddy.
Okay. I'm with that. 42 is my favorite number, so I'm cool with it.
Back.
Word. Well, here's the thing. We were going to record our SummerSlam extravaganza-esque thing, but we couldn't because someone here, I'm pointing down because he's down on me right now, was unable to attend.
See, what had happened was, so quick lowdown. Went to watch Renegades play. I saw fireworks. It was an awesome game. It was an awesome time. I got home. I sat on the couch, and it felt like someone shot me in my fucking foot. That is the only way I'm able to describe the feeling of pain that shot through my foot. So Monday, I was,
Today's
training.
Monday.
Last Monday,
Oh.
I was training, and I kind of crushed my big toe backwards towards my ankle. If you know, it doesn't bend that way. Yeah. So then I continued to go throughout the week perfectly fine. And then Friday I woke up and I was in a little bit of pain. And I thought I was having a flare-up. I just injured it. Long story short, I get home Friday night and I have a full-blown gout flare-up. I don't know if any of you boys have ever had gout. Normally, you put a napkin on your foot or wherever your flare-up is, and you will cry like a baby. This was 10 times worse than
that. Yeah. So that's why Andy wasn't there. So we decided to bring on two people who were there.
Ooh.
So we could discuss. And one of them, you guys already know, and that's Brent.
I don't know if you're on the same side.
What's going on, podcast world? The biggest return this weekend was not CM Punk. It was not Brock Lesnar. It was not even the man, Becky Lynch. It's the man, Brent Lorelli. Because finally, he has come back to the Disaster Party podcast.
I did.
The last episode was the Royal Rumble?
Nah, the video games.
Video game. Yeah. And we have a first time guest, Jason.
What's up, guys? Jason Bonilla, or you can call me Jay Ragan, making his podcast debut. So this is the first time you see me, but it won't be the last.
Any relation to Bobby?
No, unfortunately, okay. Or I'd be living the life for that one day a year.
For that one day, exactly.
Yeah. One day.
Word. All right, so we already got the lowdown. We already know who's here. So why don't we talk about the wrestling news leading into SummerSlam, and maybe some things that affected SummerSlam, and then we can jump into SummerSlam and then attack NXT. Or there is some stories about NXT prior to TakeOver.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
put some coffee on.
I got my liter of coal.
Goddamn
Not
liter
sure
of
you guys
cola.
can see it. I got my Stone Cold tumbler. I'm trying to. There we go.
I just got water. I probably should have grabbed the energy drink or something. But
Liter of coal.
I'll wave.
So what should we talk about, the biggest thing or work our way up?
You're the host, man. You.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you can consider the biggest thing.
I think there's one thing that's probably the biggest.
I'd say we just tackle the elephant in the room to start.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go on record to say that no matter what you like, no matter who you like, this week, the wrestling fans won overall. No matter what company you like, no matter what show you love, wrestling fans won, and things are getting exciting again.
I can't disagree with that. So let's go with the elephant in the room then. Mr. CM Punk officially signs with AEW and makes his first in-ring appearance talking at AEW Rampage on Friday night, the night before WWE SummerSlam. What'd you guys think?
I thought, honestly, I thought it was great, seeing him back after, 7 years walking out on WWE, but understandably so, and obviously expectedly throwing some shade at WWE, or more importantly, Vince, especially when he dropped that line where in 2005, when he left Ring of Honor, that was the day he left professional wrestling. So kind of already saw it right there that, okay, he's back. He's going to make an impact. And we'll see what happens.
Yep.
I agree. Very cool moment to see him come out there. I kept saying, even though all these rumors were, beforehand, I was like, with Punk, I don't believe it until he actually walks out on the stage, because we've been hearing rumors for a long time. Oh, he may come back. He's going to come back, blah, 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 blah. I will say, this is the one thing that kind of makes me hate the internet, because how much cooler would it have been if we didn't know? Like, you didn't really know, but you kind of knew. Like, they had been dropping all these hints, and it was in Chicago, and like, you knew if he didn't come out, like, it was going to be a problem.
And like Darby
That's why-
saying, face best in the world.
Yeah, and that's why they had to open the show with him, because they couldn't wait, because it just been CM Punk chants for the whole hour and, drown everything out. So,
Yep.
but yeah, it's definitely cool to see him come out, and we'll see how he looks. He's going to have a little ring rust on. It's been 7 years since he's been in the ring, but, it's definitely interesting to see.
I think them knowing was an amazing thing. Here's why.
Well, you say, hold on real quick. When you say them, you mean the people in the attendance?
No, like everybody, because you were saying how, like, the internet, you wish the internet didn't, like, ruin it and say, like, he was coming back so everybody anticipated it.
Yeah.
But I feel like the anticipation was even better, because you had more eyes on his return. You had so many people that were hyped up for his return. I don't think they would have had as big of a turnout if it was, or as big of a moment, I should say, if it was random. And I think the way they built it was awesome, because like they kind of told you that, like, oh yeah, he's coming, with like little hints here and there, and then pretty much the show just opens up and here he is. Like, there was no mention of him being there. And the crowd reaction that he got, the fan reaction that he got, the people, his hardcore diehard fans that missed him, like, you saw like real emotion from people.
There's that cry. That guy was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's still real to me, damn it, guy.
Yes. Of this generation, absolutely.
I heard something on a podcast today. I didn't realize. I guess the first guy he went over and hugged was Frank the Clown.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was Frank the Clown. I didn't really get a good look at it. It wasn't in makeup or anything either. So,
yeah, that's true.
That's
you guys see him jump in the crowd and almost didn't come out?
Yeah. And then apparently the woman he hugs on the campsite, on the hard campsite, that is apparently a woman that like almost basically adopted him when he was 16 and like left his parents. And apparently she was there at the Money in the Bank he won. And there's photos of him like hugging her at the Money in the Bank and then him hugging her at AEW.
When he beat Cena, that's right. And supposedly she was in the same seat, or at least in the same row, because it took place in Chicago as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was,
you want to hear,
I think that was definitely neat.
You want to hear something crazy? I've never actually watched that match.
Oh, wow.
That Punk versus Cena match from Money in the Bank.
Match.
Yeah, I know everybody says how great it is, but I don't know. That was before the network, so I wasn't buying pay-per-views, and I just never went back and watched it.
I feel you on that one. Yeah, so that, like, to me, like that was a crazy moment. Obviously, you could see CM Punk. You could tell he was getting super emotional. You know, he sat down like he did for the pipe bomb and all that. They did come out with the ratings unofficially. I think they said it was like 1.1, almost 1.2, which is basically the same for like Dynamite. That's what Dynamite normally gets.
Yeah, it's
But-
a great rating for Friday night at 10 o'clock.
Exactly. But then I'm seeing people going, oh, that's not a good rating. Like, that's a great rating. I don't care. That's 10 o'clock on a Friday at, like, most people are either sleeping or out.
Yeah, and it's only the second ever episode of Rampage.
Mm-hmm. The first episode did, I think, 739,000, almost like 750. So that's already a huge increase from episode 1.
Yeah, so he brought in 250,000 viewers, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I think
Well,
that,
more than that, actually. You said 1.2. It was more than
yeah,
that.
something like that. But then you got to think now he's advertised for Dynamite, and a lot of people who didn't watch Rampage for whatever reason, and the people who shared stuff on the internet I bet you Dynamite's gonna have a pretty good number on Wednesday.
Probably if Punk's scheduled to appear.
Yeah. So what have you guys heard about Miss Sasha Banks?
I haven't really heard much, honestly, other than like a lot of people are speculating that like it's a COVID related thing because there's all this stuff on the internet that she's like anti-vax and stuff because she liked some weird stuff on Instagram and all that stuff. But like, you know, that could be the case. I don't know. I feel like people are jumping to conclusions a little bit. We haven't heard anything official, so it is weird though. It's definitely. I feel like they should have said something on SmackDown if they knew she wasn't going to be there.
They shouldn't have played the whole promo video right before the match was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear anything as to why Sasha was out. I did read somewhere that she wasn't like medically cleared, but you know that could be whether she had a nagging injury, COVID, or you know what have you. But supposedly WWE knew for at least a week before SummerSlam, knowing that she wasn't going to be there, but they continued to advertise the match because they wanted to make Becky Lynch's return that much more shocking. Which for me it worked because I wasn't expecting to see Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, especially after the report saying that she wasn't going to appear until probably closer to Survivor Series. So
yeah, and I can see that because if they would have said something like, "Oh, Sasha can't compete," and then
Carmella.
They could announce Carmella ahead of time,
Yeah.
but like that wouldn't have been good because Carmella already had 2 shots against Bianca and lost. But if they would have tried to do something like, oh, surprise opponent or something, that would have got people thinking like, oh, it's probably Becky or something. So like, it definitely did help Becky be more of a surprise. But
and didn't
at the same time, you could look at it like it's like false advertising or whatever to act like Sasha's gonna be there when you know she's not. So I don't know.
Cards up to change.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, didn't Carmella get an opportunity because Bayley got hurt?
yes.
Yeah. The first shot she got was because like a replacement for Bayley basically, but then she like got another one the following week.
Yeah, probably 6 more between that.
Yeah.
That element of surprise, man, I love it.
Yeah.
Seeing Becky come back was cool. I don't know about what they did, if that was cool. But
Well, we'll talk about we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that because trust me, I've been chopping out the bit to address that one.
You know what's
Go ahead.
actually I'm gonna wait for that one.
Okay. Another thing that happened this week was Christian retiring the TNA belt.
Yeah, I don't think that's really that big of a deal though, because like that they didn't really reinstate the TNA belt. I feel like they just did that to give Kenny another belt to hold. But it really was it was like 2 belts representing 1 championship. You know what I mean? It started off as a storyline with Moose, where Moose was like, "Oh, you're not giving me a shot, so I'm just gonna bring back the TNA title and say I'm the TNA champion." Once Rich Swann won it, and they kind of unified it, whatever, they should have just got rid of it then. But like I said, I think they wanted like, "Hey, that's another belt that the belt collector can hold, so we'll keep it for a while."
I like the 2 belt. It reminded me of the Undisputed Championship. But
I never liked that though. Well, no, let me rephrase. I liked it when Jericho did it because he did the cool entrance where he held them both out like this. But I never would have been a big fan of like two belts representing one title. Like I also never been a fan of that design of that original TNA belt. I feel like it was like kind of like a rip off of the big gold belt, but like not as cool.
it was like a mixture between like the NWA World Heavyweight title and the big gold belt.
Yeah.
All right, so there was another return this week that is not WWE or AEW related, and that was Will Ospreay saying he's back.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
because what I'm a pretty casual New Japan fan, so he had like a pretty serious neck injury or something, didn't he? They were thinking he might not come back at all, right?
Yeah, that was the rumor. The rumor was like he was really fucked up.
But didn't he have also like have an operation of some sort?
I'm not.
I'm not too. I mean, I could be wrong, but thought he did.
I mean, the thing with him though is people been saying that for a long time. You keep working this style, dude. That's what's gonna happen. Like I remember Jericho saying on a podcast once, he told him like, people are saying you're the next Dynamite Kid. You don't want to be the next Dynamite Kid. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But he might have to slow it down a little bit if he wants to continue his career.
That guy is fantastic in the ring. Like
He actually they just announced him for the next NEW show in Danbury coming up.
Really? What?
Oh wow.
Yep.
That's a big show for him, or for NEW.
the stuff he does in the ring is like I can't.
For those who don't know, NEW is our local promotion around
Northeast.
here. Yeah, you might not know it for all the worldwide viewers of the Disaster Party podcast.
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
I think we did talk about it last time, but we didn't talk about it with these two. Ric Flair made an appearance in AAA, in Andrade's corner, and apparently Charlotte was backstage, and that's why she missed some house shows.
Yep. Again, though, like I don't know, some people are making like it's a big deal. Like I don't see why it's that big. I mean, Flair showing up in AAA, as I'm talking about Charlotte being backstage. Like, who cares? She's there to support her fiance or whatever. It's not like she came out and wrestled freaking Fabio Apache or something.
She's going to be the next Alonzo Blaze, bro. What are you talking about? All she needed was the title, and she just got it.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte, I feel like Charlotte's at a point in her WWE run, I should say, where she kind of doesn't give a shit anymore. You could tell, I guess you could kind of tell, at least I've noticed it in the way she's been performing in the last few months, with after her fiance was released by WWE, and now he's in AEW. Now Rick, after supposedly texting this man, fix this storyline with my daughter, I'm out of here, and he left. So, I think there's a bit of tension, but as much as I don't like Charlotte, she has accomplished enough in her WWE run already. She's on what, 12 championships now, not counting NXT, because now they're not.
I would say it's about 47 and a half.
Yeah, give or take.
It feels like that. It feels like that. But I mean, I have a feeling she's at some point going to be AEW bound, whether it's sooner or later.
Yeah, and then all the smarks that hate her will love her.
Yep.
I won't. I won't. If anything, I'm going to be worried that she's going to bury the division over there.
Charlotte's still working amazing matches, though. Look at what she did with Nikki. Look at what she did in the pay-per-view this weekend. Charlotte is one of the people that is still pushing hard, even at this point in her career, to become that better champion. I feel within her matches.
The thing is, if Charlotte goes to AEW, she's automatically the best wrestler there, best female wrestler on the roster, because AEW's women's division kind of sucks.
It's gotten better. Okay.
It's improved. It's improved.
There's a couple
but here's
of standouts there.
Here's the thing. It's not. I'm not just talking about the level, the talent of the wrestlers. I think they have some talented wrestlers. It's how they book it. They don't barely feature any women's wrestling. All the women are on Dark. The only people that are on Dynamite are Britt Baker and whoever's wrestling Britt Baker.
Yeah, it's pretty much the champions.
Yeah, I mean, which I get. Like Britt Baker's the most over, so she should be on there. But
They normally do one women's match.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could try to carve out a little more time for some other women, try to get some other women over, so she has opponents to face.
I think that's the purpose of Rampage, but
We'll see.
because Kira Hogan versus no,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
they-
Kira Hogan.
Yeah, and you saw what they did to Kira Hogan.
Yeah, true.
So,
All right. Any other
wanna
news
talk
that
about
I'm?
burial.
Yes. Any other news that I am not thinking of?
Well, I was gonna say just real quick, since you brought up Flair going to AAA, he's also scheduled to make an appearance in NWA coming
yes.
up. So that's that's interesting. Obviously, he's the history he has there, and
Very
stuff,
true.
so that's cool. But I'm sure he'll end up at AEW at some point also.
Yeah, that's a rumor. Him and Bray Wyatt are now a rumor.
Yeah, Bray. See, Bray will be very interesting because he's probably gonna have to come up with a whole new character, which I have no doubt he'll come up with something cool because he's like the most creative dude. But it'll be interesting. He won't be able to use that name. Obviously, it's gonna be a whole new name, character, everything. So be interesting to see what he comes up with.
You gotta see like all the promos that they're putting out for like what they did for Murphy, what they did for Black. Like that's literally Bray's Funhouse and Wheelhouse. Like they can create a whole horror movie that everybody will watch before he even debuts.
He keeps talking about Malachi Black. He keeps saying this House of Black or whatever. So that kind of got my wheels turned. Like, hey, maybe that could be some kind of faction. Like you said, Murphy could be involved with that, and maybe even Bray or something like.
You
that.
heard
like the Dark Order, legit.
Yeah.
Hosea say like we even have the devil here, and they keep going. I think it was in Buddy Murphy's promo, and then everybody's just like, oh, could that be Bray? Because it fits him.
Could be interesting. I think he still has
Or it could
another.
be Kevin Sullivan.
I think he still has about 2 months left. So I think. Oh no, I heard it's. I read it the other day. It's 5 days before their pay-per-view after All Out.
Okay.
Okay.
Strowman just put out something too about his non-compete being up in a few days. So see if he pops up somewhere too.
Well, there is word on the street that Adam Cole did not resign.
Yeah, that's interesting to keep your eye on too, because we'll see.
And
as a matter of fact,
go ahead.
I was going to say, as a matter of fact, as of this morning, there was a report saying that it was confirmed that he's done with WWE. He's not under contract with WWE.
Well, his contract ended 2 months ago. They were doing almost like a date by date for him until SummerSlam.
Yeah, and then last night was it. As of today, he's a free agent. If he wants, he could show up on Wednesday on Dynamite. So we'll see.
I mean,
I doubt it, but
CM Punk had AC on his shoe.
It's true.
And Adam Cole used Britt Baker's move.
Yeah. Little Easter eggs. But speaking of CM Punk, shoot, he also had CF on the other one. Could that be Charlotte Flair?
Maybe.
I don't know. Could also be trolling.
True.
It is Punk.
Which he does. Which he's very known for.
All right. So unless we got any other news that we can think of, let's jump into SummerSlam. All right. So this apparently was the biggest wrestling event, live event, since COVID. And they were saying, I think I saw it said 53,000, 51,000 in this brand new stadium. Pretty wild in Vegas. So do you want to talk about the pre-show match? There's only one. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So how about this? I'm going to tell what the match is. If you guys want to talk about it, talk about it. We'll do it quick, and then we can move on. So if there's anything to talk about, some of these matches are not much to talk about. Pre-show was Big E defeating Baron Corbin to get his Money in the Bank briefcase back, and the match went 6 minutes and 35 seconds.
Not much to talk about for the actual match, but Baron Corbin is doing some excellent character work right now. I'll say that. The man is very committed to what he's doing, and I think it's one of the most entertaining things on WWE TV.
He's just a sad old man.
Bum ass Baron Corbin, as Pat McAfee would say.
Baron Corbin's gimmick is starting to grow on me slowly but surely. At first, I'm like, where is this going? Because it's like, is WWE trying to turn him face and trying to get the fans to feel sorry for him? Which kind of hard to do after everything he did during his heel run. But he's starting to grow. The gripe I have with this match is that what is WWE doing with the briefcase? Because it feels like year after year, they downplay the briefcase more and more when whoever holds the briefcase is supposed to be, most possibly a future world champion within a year. So, to have it just taken, for Baron Corbin to just take it from Big E during some segment on SmackDown, and then Big E pretty much has to fight to get it back. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me.
Well, I want to clarify one thing, as Rob said, for the briefcase. I don't think the match was for the briefcase. I think it was just Baron just had it because he stole it, and then Big E beat him and took it back. It wasn't like you get the briefcase back if you win the match. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's how
Baron doesn't have any actual. Baron doesn't have any actual right to the thing. He just stole it.
Word.
Yeah, I mean that's true. But then again, we've seen stranger things happen, and that's really how this match felt.
I think it's awesome.
Well, yeah. Listen, the man's desperate. Desperate men do desperate things.
Oh yeah, I mean
he's banging a can of SpaghettiOs on the sidewalk.
That's actually one reason why I think it's awesome, because Corbin is doing amazing things, and even though they have him down now, the build to get him back to superstardom is going to be dope. Whether it's face build, whether it's a heel build, it's going to be awesome because you're seeing him down in the dumps. So now the only way he can go is back up. As for the briefcase, I mean, you've seen Miz steal the briefcase a bunch of times, and I don't think it necessarily knocks the person holding it, because you see what Big E has to go through to fight to keep that briefcase, so he keeps his spot. So when he earns the championship, if he does go over for the championship, he had to go through Baron Corbin taking it. He had to go through everybody else just so that way he can hold on to that and win the championship, which makes it that much more. The stealing, it was funny just because it was Corbin. And him getting
I'll agree to that. Oh yeah,
because it was like when Shinsuke stole Corbin's crown. It was hilarious, and then now he's down where he is. So,
Word.
I am curious, as you guys said, what the end game is too. Like, are they gonna eventually try to turn him face? Because like, on one hand, it's like, yeah, you're supposed to feel bad for him, but he's still coming out and saying like really douchey things and making people boo him. So like, but there were some rumors. There were some rumors too that they trademarked the name Happy Corbin, which like that sounds awful. That's like another Shorty G. I hope that's not their plan to turn him face and change his name to Happy Corbin.
hell yeah, it's gonna be a Happy Gilmore. That's gonna be awesome.
That would actually be funny if he turned into a golfer.
Hell yeah, that's how he gets back onto the game. He teams up with Kerwin White. It's gonna be all right.
All right. So we've talked about this match as longer than this match actually lasts.
All right, go ahead. Next one.
All right. So the actual start of SummerSlam, we got one of the most enjoyable things on Raw right now. RK Bro, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, or just Riddle now, and they faced AJ Styles and Omos. The match was 7:05, and RK Bro went over. Good match. Fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out there right now. If you're gonna ask me like about the quality of the matches, I don't know how much we contribute, because as you know, we were over there at your house, Rob, watching this, and we were all being loud and stupid and talking to each other and drinking, and like I don't know how much I was paying attention to the actual matches as far as like analyzing them for quality. I know RK Bro won, RKO out of nowhere as usual, and I'm happy with them winning and being tag champs, because I'm not impressed with Almost, or whatever the hell his name is, at all.
Yeah, he basically showed everything he could show. And like you said, the match did end very abruptly. I remember all of us going, wait, that just ended?
Yeah, and like you said, it was only 7 minutes. I didn't realize at the
Yeah.
time, but like when you say that, it's like that's not much time to do anything really. So the thing
Yeah,
with
I mean-
the thing with almost is like I think there should be a rule, a limit, a height limit on wrestlers. Like once you reach a certain height, it's like you're too big to do anything. Like
Yeah.
7
How
feet
tall-
tall. Once you're over 7 feet tall, you just go do something else.
How tall was Kane?
Huh?
How tall was Kane?
He wasn't 7 feet, I don't think.
He was like 6'10".
He was just
Close.
he just hit the limit of like being a big dude, but could still, do some stuff. And you remember that dude would jump off the top rope and shit. So
How tall was Big Show?
I don't think Big Show's even 7 feet. I think they used to say
He's a
he was
unicorn, bro. He's a unicorn.
they used to say he was 7 feet tall, and he's not. They were like just like he wasn't 500 pounds. They like overestimated on how big he really is.
Yeah.
What about Andre the Giant?
I bet.
Another
Almost-
unicorn, bro.
I bet almost is a foot taller than the Big Show.
Kurgan. All right, that was a bad
Yeah,
example.
Kurgan was not good.
Oh.
Neither was Giant Gonzalez. Neither was Great Khali. That's what I'm saying. Once you go over 7 feet, it's too much.
Great Khali was a monster before he was dancing with girls. When they first brought Khali in, Khali was a monster.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
He always walked around like he had no knees.
Because he didn't. This is because his knees have 500 pounds weighing down on him.
How about we go to the most anticipated match of the night?
yeah. I'm gonna have a field day with this.
Alexa Bliss versus Eva Marie. And it was a singles match. And this match went 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Thank
And
God.
Alexa Bliss went over.
I love everything she does, so I'm biased.
Alexa or Eva Marie?
Alexa.
Oh, okay. No, I got no issues with Alexa. I'm a fan of her.
I'm a fan of Alexa. Oh, first of all, this match, why did it happen? Because what are they fighting over? I don't know. Eva Marie, why is she employed? I think she's terrible. Period. Point blank. I think she sucks. I think Piper Niven. Granted,
I think you mean
I'm
Dewdrop.
hoping Dewdrop. I'm sorry. I hope. I'm sure, and I'm at least hoping that this is going to lead to something for Dewdrop or Piper Niven, because I'm sure she'll get her name back at some point when she finally breaks out of Eva Marie's shadow. Now, going back to what you said, Andy, I like Alexa Bliss. Now, the whole thing with this gimmick is that this was originally Bray's creation. He was the mastermind, and I know WWE owns it, so obviously they have the ability to give it to Alexa, and now she's doing this with it. I just feel like, where is this going? This gimmick with Alexa, where's going to be the payoff? Is she going to end up being the women's champion?
If you watch Raw. Raw's going on right now.
They did something on Raw with it. I'm not watching. Yeah, it was.
Did they do something? Yeah, I'm not watching Raw.
Well,
Well,
maybe if you were watching Raw.
Alexa.
I'll say this. This match, it did advance some storylines because we're seeing a crack in it thing, like you said, another step closer to like Dewdrop, hopefully dropping Eva Marie and going on her own.
Because at the end, she did go, and the loser is.
Yeah. And
Eva Marie.
the thing is, though, this didn't need to happen on SummerSlam. This could have been
That's
like a
true.
segment on Raw to advance the storyline. I will say this about Eva Marie. I agree. She's not a good wrestler. She's not a good talker. I don't really see what her talent is, but I will say this because of all the people that say people like that, like, oh, this person sucks and blah, blah, but she gets a reaction. The thing is, if you really want to play that card, like this person sucks, they shouldn't be on TV, then don't react to them. Don't boo them when they come out. Because if you boo them, Vince doesn't go, oh, they hate her, I'm going to get rid of her. They go, oh, listen to that heat, god damn it. He's going to push her out there even more. So the real reaction to give somebody that you don't think is good is silence. And,
I mean, if anything, I tend to look away because I'm just like, I'm not entertained by her at all.
All right,
yeah,
so
look
then
at all
I
the-
agree, but
let's not give her any more attention.
Agreed.
Alexa.
Next match is Damian Priest versus Sheamus. This match went 13:50, and Damian Priest defeated Sheamus. Hard-hitting match. I think it makes sense that he won. The ending was what he pulled Sheamus's mask off, kind of hit him with his finisher. Game over.
I loved it. I loved the match. I loved the result. It gives Damian Priest absolutely, gives him the title that he earned by beating Sheamus a few weeks ago, which I have my own opinion about, but and also it finally solidifies Damian Priest as stepping away from this month-long storyline with The Miz and Morrison, because that storyline has been dead, and they just kept beating a dead horse with that. So
how many times are you gonna beat Johnny Drip Drip?
America's Most Wanted.
Brent, Andy, you got anything to say about this?
Yeah, I agree. Not much to add. Good, hard-hitting match. I mean, that's the type of matches I like. Two big, meaty men slapping meat. And I'm a big fan of Damian Priest. I've liked him ever since he was Ring of Honor.
Martinez, baby.
Yeah, so I'm glad he's got the title, getting a push. So it's all good with me.
To see I'm biased here too, but to see his to see him evolve from where he started to where he is now is absolutely amazing. I'm nothing but happy for him. That match was awesome, and I can't wait to see what they do with him. Love it.
Andy, I'm excited to hear, because you are calling these SummerSlam matches awesome. I can't wait for your feedback on the NXT matches.
Oh, I can't wait to get to one.
Because if you're saying these were good and awesome, you're going to be like, these were the best matches ever in NXT. All right, so let's go on to the next match. And this is one of those rematches that we just want to see over and over. I think it's happened about 20 times, but why not 21? The Usos versus the Mysterios for the Tag Team Championships of SmackDown. This match went 10 minutes and 50 seconds. And in the 21st rematch of these two great teams, the Usos went over.
I liked the match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun match. Good result. I'm not happy with the whole idea of the Usos having the tag team titles after, which one was it? Jimmy, who was just most recently arrested for DUI?
It was Jimmy.
Jimmy? Okay.
Jimmy.
And basically not suspended, nothing, no. It doesn't even, I don't even think he missed any TV time. I don't think he missed any weeks of SmackDown. And it's like, is it being brushed under the rug? Because this is like the third time he's been arrested for it. His brother's been arrested for it numerous times. So it's like
205, bro.
Okay, but what's gonna happen when he gets behind the wheel next time? And what if he kills someone? It's almost like WWE kind of like rewarded him because he gets arrested. There's no clear punishment unless they handle somehow behind closed doors. And then within the next few weeks they give him a title? What about Gable and Otis? They've been built as a solid tag team recently. How come they didn't get a shot?
They're not the Mysterios. They needed to do round 21.
Well, it's more. It has more to do with Roman. I think they're with Roman and they're in this storyline with him, and they want WWE. They're not going to let it fuck up their storylines. Which you could say that's right or wrong. It's not right.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate truth. Yeah,
that's just the way.
And
it is.
Also, they're trying to get The Rock. So if they derail any part of that storyline, especially when someone considered within the family, WWE is not going to jeopardize their ultimate goal. Yeah, I get it. Yeah,
I think the way WWE looks at it is like that's his personal life. Like he can deal with he has to deal with the police or whatever. Like it's got nothing to do with us. And again, you can disagree with that, but that's the way they look at it. I think so.
I think from a business standpoint, there is no way that they let one of their employees get off scot-free from having not only being out in public and having being public knowledge, but there has to be some type of penalty about that. Whether it's public knowledge or not, they definitely had to have done something. But again, you're also on TV weekly. You also have episodes weekly that you have to produce. You know, you have investors now that you have to keep happy and you have to produce to. So whether or not we see it as one perspective of, hey, you know, you're rewarding somebody for bad behavior, you also have to think of it like it might look like that in the limelight, but behind closed doors, there's probably a whole ton of shit that he's going through right now.
Probably.
Word. Well,
The only thing I'll add real quick of this match, the match was fine. I'm disappointed we didn't get a Dominic heel turn. I need Dominic to beat up his dad. That's where
I'm
this
down
has
with
to
that.
go at some point.
So this next match will finally say that we are at the halfway point.
A lot of matches.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying we're giving a lot of these weak matches a lot of time. This match is the shortest match on the card at a whopping 27 seconds. And this was the most hyped match. This match won an ESPY award at the ESPN Awards ceremony. This match main evented night one of WrestleMania 2021, and it didn't happen. So Bianca came out. They said that Sasha was not there to compete. You have Carmella coming out looking like a stripper. And then Becky Lynch comes out, surprises everyone, high-fives the crowd, comes in, punches Carmella, says, hold on to Bianca, knocks her out of the ring, comes back in and goes, the man's back, and how about we do a match for that belt? She literally sucker punches Bianca, rock bottom, 1, 2, 3. Becky Lynch is now your new SmackDown Women's Champion. The return of the year, guys. This was bigger than CM Punk.
We have enough time for this one because, oh boy, I'm going to rant on this one.
Go ahead. You go first.
Okay. So the shock value of Becky Lynch coming back, I was legit shocked. So it definitely worked on me. In terms of production, I felt it went horribly wrong. And I think Becky does not look good coming out of this. And here's why. Because you buried Sasha. I'm sorry. How it looked to me,
Sasha never showed up.
Sasha. I'm sorry. Bianca. I'm sorry. I'm in my thoughts right now. So Bianca got buried. That's how it looked to me.
You guys throw that word buried around way too much. One loss is not buried. I agree that it was bad, but she's not buried.
No. Here's why I'm going to say buried. Yes, the word buried in general does get thrown around a lot, but I think it could apply here because it's like you spend all the time building Bianca up in NXT. You bring her up to the main roster. You give her a Royal Rumble win. You build her a WrestleMania match with Sasha, which main evented night one, like you said, Rob. They had a great match. They had a great back and forth match, and Sasha put her over. Okay, after that match, when Sasha was at ringside, okay, there's a clip. You can go online if you haven't seen it already, where Sasha is crying tears of joy because she is one of those women, and she's known to be one of those women that is for the betterment of the division, her and Bayley. Okay, so for her to put Bianca over, Bianca had her moment. Now, Bianca, since WrestleMania, has had this title reign, which was okay. She had great matches with Bayley, but then Bayley got hurt. Carmella's gotten better in the ring since years ago, so okay. I felt that this ring could have been better. And then to basically, in 27 seconds? First, why did Carmella come out? They could have produced it a different way. They didn't even have to have Carmella come out. They could have just said, Sasha's not, clear to compete, so you have a mystery opponent. Becky Lynch's music hit. The crowd goes nuts. those two could have put on a great match. Okay, even if it just went at least 5 minutes, and then still give Becky given the title. I understand why Becky has the title because she relinquished the Raw Women's title last year, right after Money in the Bank, to announce her pregnancy. So basically, she was owed a shot. Completely understand it. So I'm okay with Becky taking the title off Bianca. I just don't like how it was done because it was just like a heel tactic, a punch, a cheap shot, a rock bottom, 1, 2, 3. That's it. And I personally believe, and I could be wrong, that after all of the initial shock value has died down of Becky's return, she might get booed on SmackDown because yesterday, and I'm sorry, I'm giving this a lot of time. I'm sorry. But yesterday they did there was a house show, and I think in Denver, where Bianca went on the mic after her match, and she said, how emotional she still was after losing the title, but she was going to bounce back, and she still was the EST. And the crowd, she got a loud ovation for that speech. So if the crowd is still getting heavily behind Bianca, does that mean Becky is going to get booed? And if you boo her, is she heel now? We'll see what happens. I don't like the way it went down, but let's see where it goes.
See, that's the key, though. Maybe that's what they're going for. And if it is, then I think it does make sense. I still don't like that she just beat Bianca in 5 seconds with one move like that. But if the goal is to turn Becky heel, then I can kind of understand it. But if they're still trying to have Becky be a babyface, then yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's like WWE has this weird thing where like a lot of their baby faces act like douchebags. Like they're not good people. And we're supposed to cheer for them. Like you said, she sucker punched her. And Becky's actually part of that's on the fans too, though, because Becky's been like that the whole time. Like the whole time she's this over babyface, but she acts like a complete asshole. And like that's what people like about her. People like assholes for some reason. So, but to your point,
you're absolutely right. You're right.
To your point, we'll see what happens on SmackDown. We'll see what kind of reaction she gets. I hope they turn her heel, honestly, because she, like I said, she kind of already acts like a heel. She's, her husband is a heel, the top heel probably on the show. Well, no, Roman is, but he's right next to him probably. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you're absolutely right because, she acts like a heel. When she turned on Charlotte, what was it? SummerSlam, what was it, last year? No, not last year, a couple of years ago. When she turned on Charlotte.
Maybe.
2018 or 2019. It was after their triple threat match between those two and Carmella, where Charlotte won the title. Mm-hmm. And after the match, they hugged, they embraced, and then she smacked the crap out of Charlotte. That was her heel turn. But the crowd got behind her because the crowd disliked Charlotte more than they were supposed to dislike Becky. And that helped Becky get over at monumental levels.
Yeah. Andy?
Talk about your sobs. Talk about John 3:16. Becky 3:16 says I just whooped your ass. I'll say this quickly. The last statement you made, Becky turning on Charlotte, complete Austin deal, and the crowd got over because she was a complete badass. I do agree. She should have had a longer match with Bianca instead of 5 seconds. Because I would love to see both of them go. Both of them could have an amazing match. I do agree with them sending Carmella out only because you thought it was Carmella, and Carmella is what threw you off of Becky returning. Because if they said that Sasha was unable to wrestle, everybody instantly would have thought Becky Lynch coming back, because that's what they thought for the Rumble. That's what they thought, for the other pay-per-views. Her beating up Carmella and then sucker punching Bianca, now it depends on the crowd. They could turn her face, they could turn her heel. But either way,
power is on our hands.
Exactly. If the crowd is behind Bianca, then that's an amazing story, because then you have, again, Austin Becky, and you have Bianca, which would create that amazing story of like, I wasn't ready for you. You sucker punched me to win. Now I'm chasing you back for my belt, and just builds that bigger story for when they actually do go off, and then when they get in the ring and Bianca lights her shit up. Now you know why.
That's another thing, though. I've seen some people say that they could use that and say she wasn't prepared for Becky, but like Bianca can't really say that because that's not like a babyface move to be like, oh, I wasn't ready. Like
I had my opponent
that's a
switched
heel
up
thing.
twice.
Yeah. So like we'll see what they do with that, but I feel like that's not a babyface move to say that. So
Word. All right. We gave that at least 10 times longer than the match actually was.
Sorry.
The next match was Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Drew McIntyre went over. This match, just like the Alexa Bliss match, probably shouldn't have been on the card. I don't think there was any real stakes behind it. It is what it is. Everyone kind of saw Drew McIntyre winning, so that's all I got to say to that.
I just look at this as kind of like filling time for Drew. Like he needs to drop out of the title picture for a while. They need something for him to do, and I think he wanted to work with Jinder because they're boys. So it was fine for what it was, but yeah, there wasn't much to it. So.
Yeah, it was a quick little, I guess, throwaway match. I mean, the build was really lazy, if anything. They never mentioned their time together on 3MB. They did mention how they're friends. They just have been through a lot together, but
Mentioned 3MB.
Did they? Because I
don't think they
in the
said 3MB
promo.
by name. I think they just said saying stuff like he's known me for 10 years and blah blah blah. So
yeah, I mean, they mentioned working together, but not.
The build up for it was kind of like corny too. Like some of
Yeah.
the stuff Drew with like the sword and stuff. It's kind of hokey.
The sword, the history lessons, the motorcycle.
Yeah.
I think this match probably would have been a better fit for like somewhere in the second hour of Raw, honestly.
Yeah.
For what it was.
Andy?
I'm doing this for you, Thom, okay? We're talking about Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal. Thom was so excited to watch Jinder Mahal go out there and wrestle Drew McIntyre. Thom was wishing and praying that Jinder Mahal went over because of the great Mahal. You're welcome. I did this on the podcast for you, literally live. I like
Drew hinder Jinder though.
Drew hinder Jinder. I like the build. It's 3MB, right? You got two boys battling it out. They did have a long build to it, but the story itself was, Jinder's got his whole new deal now, and he's going after Drew. And you're right, it might have been a way to keep him out of the title picture, but at the same time, like, it kept both of them fresh. Also kept Jinder's new crew fresh. So, I mean, I thought it was good on SummerSlam.
All right, then. What about this match? Women's triple threat. We had Charlotte Flair, Nikki A.S.H., and Rhea Ripley. Triple threat goes 13:05, and I think we said it earlier, but Charlotte went over to become the 47th time female women's the WWE Raw, Universal, NXT, and SmackDown champion.
Yep.
I mean,
I feel
bow down to the queen.
It was expected. It was a good match. It had a lot of good flow. They all had good chemistry. Unfortunately, I feel like they were pushing Nikki, and that came to an end very quickly. It was like 3 weeks.
For a while, though.
It was like 3 weeks.
A lot longer than I thought they would.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I don't know if the push is over. We'll see what they do moving forward, but.
Word. All right.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, expected.
Charlotte wins.
Charlotte wins as expected. I don't like Nikki A.S.H. I don't like Nikki A.S.H.
Actually, you know what? I do want to talk about this a little bit real quick.
All right.
Because I understand what you're saying, and I know a lot of people have that feeling about Nikki A.S.H., and I actually agree with that. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer Sanity Nikki.
Me too.
I think sometimes something we need to remember, especially as adult fans, is like people will say stuff like, "What is this stupid shit? This is for kids." And my thing is always like, so, like, there's kids that are fans too. Like, kids need somebody to cheer for, somebody to like, and not to mention also, apparently this gimmick was her idea. This was something that she wanted to do. So I gotta look at it sometimes. I gotta look at things like, okay, that's not for me, but it's so for somebody else. I can't say it shouldn't exist just because I don't like it. So
Yeah.
that thing's gonna sell a lot of merch. Kids are gonna like it. They're gonna want, oh, the little girl, I want the Nikki AS8 mask or whatever. So you can't really hate on stuff like that. Like some stuff is gonna be for the kids, and that's okay. And it is what it is. So.
Like a hurricane.
Well, the next match.
What'd you say, Andy? I'm sorry.
It's like a hurricane cape, man. When I was a kid, everybody wanted to rock those.
That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Yeah. The last thing I will say about this triple threat match, real quick, is that I just wonder what's going to happen long term with Rhea, because it felt like she just kind of been flip flopping back and forth. Is she a face? Is she a heel? Is she a tweener?
You'll find out on Raw.
Well,
what?
I want to know. I wonder what's going to happen with her in the long run, because she's gone through quite a few transformations ever since dating back to last year.
That actually made me think of another thing I did want to say. I actually kind of thought of when we were talking about Bianca and Bailey and Becky and all that stuff too. They need to unify the women's titles and just have one, because the women's division is too thin to have two champions. This is why you keep seeing these same matchups over and over again. Like you said, Rhea, it already feels like Rhea has like nothing to do now because she already faced Charlotte a bunch of times, and like who else is there for her to really work with? You know what I mean? They need to reunify the women's titles and just let the champion be on both shows, and the women can just. I think they need to this is getting into a little bit of a rant now. I was just saying about the women, but they need to stop with the brand split. I think unify the titles and just you can still have Raw and SmackDown, but you don't have to have set rosters for both, especially now that they're releasing 100 people. Like
You
just
must
have
half of that list then, because if you stop the brand splits, there's a lot of people that aren't getting opportunities.
No. But here's what I'm saying though. You could still keep it like sort of like a brand split, but just not like basically like if you're on Raw that week, don't be on SmackDown that week.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
agree.
So you can still keep enough time to feature everybody, but you don't need to have two separate divisions, two sets of tag champs. Like Rob said before, Usos and Rey Mysterio 100 times because there's no other tag teams. There's there's the Street Profits, but they already had a run with the belts. And there's Gable and Otis. They could do something more with them, but that's still thin. That's 4 tag teams.
Yeah, I would agree.
Raw has less.
I would agree. I would agree in terms of the tag team divisions and the women's divisions. Merge those. Those male single superstars, I would say you could keep those separate because it's still stacked.
Yeah, that'd be
in
fun.
that respect.
So let's talk about
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's talk about a stacked dream match. Seth Rollins versus Edge. 21 minutes and 15 seconds. The second longest match of the night. Let's try not to take 21 minutes, 15 seconds to chat about this one, boys.
I love it. They brought back the old school Brood. In my head, I was like, he's coming out to Brood music. I didn't think he was actually going to. He did. He looked like Gangrel. It was awesome. I loved every minute of it. I loved the match. I loved the build. I loved the story. It was effing awesome.
He looked like the villain from Men in Black 3. Here's a picture.
Yeah,
I agree.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Brent. You go.
No, I'll just go real quick because I don't have that much to add. I agree. The match was good. That the Brood entrance was awesome. The only thing I'll say, and this is going to be a thing that is going to come up a little bit more, especially when we go back to NXT. I thought the ending was a little anticlimactic. It was kind of weird. He just like choked them real quick, like when they were on the ground. I thought it was kind of out of nowhere, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Still good match, so I liked it.
Yeah, real quick. I loved this match. I love the build. I love the story they told. Edge could still go in the ring at his age. It was phenomenal. You know, I definitely liked the part of the where they went back to what was it, 20? What was it? How many years ago was it?
It was like 2014, I think, when he was going to stomp on him.
Yeah, when he was going to stomp him on the briefcase.
Yeah.
Bring that up. I thought was great. Now, we'll just see what happens because it looks like this rivalry is over. Unless
I'm not so
something
sure about
changes.
that. We got Extreme Rules coming up next. I feel like they could do another one with like a stipulation. There's actually, there's been a lot of comparisons with Seth and Edge for a long time too. So
Yeah.
this match definitely made sense.
All right, then. Our next match, which might have been the sloppiest match next to the Alexa Bliss and Eva Marie match, and that is Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg, 7 minutes and 10 seconds. In my opinion,
That's a marathon for Goldberg.
Yeah, then in my opinion, this match went way too long, and it showed. It showed. And this match ended via referee stoppage, and Bobby Lashley won.
Well, if you remember, Rob, we had a bet an over under 5.5 minutes. So Goldberg he went over. Well, he didn't go over, but you know what I mean. He went over 5.5 minutes.
Bobby Lashley attacked Goldberg's son.
That was the best part of the match.
Yep.
The
ending of this match was really wonky. I don't know why they ended the match like that.
I don't know why this match happened. It should not have happened. Goldberg should not have been back. He should not have gotten the title shot, because this is what the third title shot in a row he's gotten that he didn't deserve. He just waltzed right in saying, hey, I want a title shot. He gets it.
Well, he signed a contract. He signed a contract for 2 matches a year. You got to put him in a big match.
Yeah, but
big match doesn't have to be for the title, though.
Exactly. And if you're going to make it for the title, you got to have it make sense. Him just coming down the ramp on some random episode of Raw or SmackDown to say, I want a title shot because I'm Goldberg. There's no logic behind that. You know, he got one against Bray Wyatt. He got one against Drew McIntyre. And now he's got one against Lashley. Like, he didn't deserve it. He lost this one and he lost to Drew clean. You know, and unfortunately, it looks like this rivalry might not be over, and we might get a rematch probably at Royal Rumble after what Bobby Lashley did to his son. So we'll see.
Or maybe we get Bobby Lashley versus Gage Goldberg.
Oh, the third Gage that we know.
It'll be different.
Andy, anything?
He fucked his son up.
He did.
Fuck them kids.
Broken kids. All right. So main event: Roman Reigns versus John Cena. And if Roman Reigns lost, he would leave WWE forever. This match went 24 minutes, and Roman Reigns went over.
So I hated that they added that stipulation because, I mean, it was already pretty obvious that Roman was going to win, but that just, like, locked it in. Like, well, I don't know why they added that. Like, you know Roman ain't leaving, so, like, what was the point adding that stipulation? I don't know.
Yeah.
And this match was all right. It was a little clunky, but it was fine.
Someone who, for Cena, who hasn't wrestled a real match since like 2018, because his last WrestleMania was the Firefly Funhouse.
Well, what exactly do you mean by a real match? Because I thought the same thing, but I actually looked up his like cage match list.
Because Cena,
he's been doing house shows.
Oh, has he?
And he's been doing dark matches on Raw and SmackDown. So he has been trying to work out the ring rust. But I also kind of just feel like, I know it's only been 2 matches. These guys had a match at No Mercy too. And I didn't think that match was that great either. I just feel like these guys don't have in-ring chemistry. That happens. Sometimes you just don't have chemistry with a certain opponent. So, I don't know. I think the match was bad, but I don't think it was that great either.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed this match. I thought it was a great match between the two. It had the builds in the last few weeks on SmackDown could have been a little better, but I think the story that was told throughout the match was great. The stipulation of Roman retiring if he lost, that was unnecessary because it wasn't needed. For 2 guys who aren't really known for being the smoothest in the ring, even though Roman has definitely gotten better. And, and Cena has, even though he's been doing dark matches and house shows, he was away for an extended period of time. I thought this was a great match, between the two. You got the right result. Roman went over clean, establishing himself further as being the tribal chief and why he's the head of the table, why he's the Universal Champion. And he's just he keeps just steamrolling through everyone in his way. And he just is on a roll of a lifetime right now.
Until you hear dun 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 dun. Lesnar made his much anticipated return, and now the story is going to be, who does Paul Heyman help, Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar? And Brock Lesnar had a little top knot and a beard.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting with Paul Heyman.
Yeah,
Andy,
I'm really
see what
interested.
happens.
I'm really interested in that because is Brock gonna be talking for himself? Because we know that doesn't work out too well.
Oh boy.
And I thought that the timing of this is interesting too, because I guess there's reports that they might be doing this match at Crown Jewel.
Yes.
So, I thought they'd save that for something bigger, like maybe WrestleMania, but I guess they probably want The Rock at WrestleMania. But I don't know if that's a guarantee they're going to be able to get The Rock. He's always making movies. They've had issues before with him wrestling because the insurance and stuff with the movies, they won't let him. So maybe they should have not pulled the trigger on this yet, but, it's still cool to see Brock come back at the end.
Well, there was actually a report that as of a couple of weeks ago, there were no plans to have Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. And this was a last-minute move to counter AEW's eventual return of CM Punk. So this was kind of like their counterattack.
Oh,
Yeah.
Vince must have backed up the Brinks trunk then.
Well,
that's why he fired everybody to save money for Brock.
yeah, he had to make him the last-minute phone call to Brock saying, "Hey, I need you on a plane now. I'll pay you whatever you want."
That's why he was
I need
dressed like that.
Yeah.
He was dressed like he just came off the plane. He probably literally just came off the jet.
Andy,
But-
anything?
Rock got that rock pop.
He did get that rock pop.
He did. He did. People were happy to see him.
Because
In the end, I still think Roman goes over.
people were happy, but they were surprised.
Yep.
They knew Brock might come back, he might not, and all of a sudden you hear the music. All returns this week, got that element of surprise from the fans, and it's awesome. And I think that's something that we've been missing for the longest time. You hear that glass shatter, and Austin walks through the curtain. The roof is getting blown off that place. I think the same thing happened with Brock. I think the same thing definitely happened with Punk. And it's awesome that you have those surprises again, and even in the matches, the way certain matches played out, you didn't know, and I think that's awesome.
So it's another interesting thing about this, and you just made me think of it because you said you think Roman goes over, but the match a lot of people actually have been saying they want to see is Brock and Bobby Lashley. So I'm curious to see if maybe Lashley's been saying he wanted that match for a long time, so maybe if they do this match, Brock and Roman, maybe Lashley gets involved, maybe he interferes, beats up Brock, says, you've been ducking me for a long time. So maybe there's Roman doesn't necessarily have to go over. Maybe there's no finish to that match, and then they can go Brock and Bobby from there, maybe for WrestleMania.
And we could probably cut SummerSlam here, but after the show, Brock Lesnar actually suplexed John Cena about 5 or 6 times and F5'd him.
So it's a SummerSlam tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send the crowd home happy.
Yep. All right. So on to NXT 36. We had 5 matches in the main card, and we had a pre-show match. The pre-show match, literally, Rich Holland versus Trey Baxter, 1:45. Ridge just literally destroyed Trey Baxter. That was literally all it was. But the main card, we had Cameron Grimes with Ted DiBiase facing LA Knight for the $1 million championship. Had Grimes lost, DiBiase would have become Knight's butler. This match went 16 minutes and 31 seconds. This was actually a really good match. Good back and forth. Cameron Grimes went over. I know that these guys had some pretty nice battles in TNA and Impact, but this is the first time me seeing them face each other. I really enjoyed this match.
I agree. I thought this match was really good. I'm a big fan of both these guys. Like you said, Rob, going back to Impact, especially Eli Drake. I wish that was still his name. It's way better than LA Knight, but I'm a big fan of him. I'm always been a guy who's been a little more into the mic guys and character guys, and he's really good on the mic. And I thought it was cool that DiBiase got involved, put him in the $1 Million Dream, and
It was a really weak one, but he definitely got him in it.
yeah, you know,
Oh, yeah.
the man is old. What do you want?
Hey, but he could throw a punch though.
Yeah, the punch actually was
caught
pretty
Knight.
good.
He
Yeah,
caught Knight with a closed hand flush.
So,
Yeah, but
so
this was a great match.
The $1 Million Man. If he locks it in anybody, they're going night, no matter what. He's the $1 Million Man.
Yes, sir. All right. The next match. I know we're gonna have a lot to say for the 4th and 5th match. So match number 2 for the main card: Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Champion. 12-minute 24. This match was good. It was solid. A lot of going back and forth. There was like, I thought it was cool that Raquel went to go pick up Dakota for a power bomb, and as she was flipping her up, Dakota's like just kicking her in the face and forced her to drop her. And I was like, I don't think I've seen that before, and that was really cool.
I thought you were gonna say the one where she threw her back. She got on like a power bomb, and just threw her back and dropped her on the top rope. That was
cool too.
That was pretty sick. I love the ending of this match too. The power bomb off the second rope, I thought was cool.
And she kept there was one point she swung her head into Gonzalez swung Dakota's head into the middle turnbuckle. That shit looked painful.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, no, I thought this was a good match. It was pretty decent. It was cool to see Kaylee Ray come out after.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It looks like they're pending a showdown between the two champs.
Kaylee's not champ anymore.
Kaylee's not champ anymore, and I think she's on NXT. I think she's on NXT for good now. I think this is like a promotion.
A call up, yeah.
Which I'm happy to see because she's really good, and she deserves a bigger stage. Not to say, NXT UK is cool. It's a good show, but obviously not as many people watching it as right.
I think she lost about a month or so ago.
Really?
Yeah, took a little time off
for some reason.
Yeah. No, she
this
lost
goes to show I got to catch up.
She lost it to Miko Satomura.
Okay. My only question coming out of this match is that now what's next for Dakota Kai? Is she staying on NXT? Is she getting called up?
Yeah, she's been doing dark matches on Raw and main event.
Okay.
And
it's gonna be interesting to see how that
comes out.
She'll be a
babyface. She'll be a babyface, and they'll completely disregard anything she did in NXT.
Yep. Yep.
Oh boy.
Andy?
I thought it was awesome.
Okay. If you thought that was awesome, I really want to hear your opinion on this next match. And I thought this next match was the longest match of the show, but I was wrong. It felt like the longest match of the show because they were beating the fuck out of each other. It was Dragunov versus Walter, the most anticipated rematch of NXT UK, which is what they said a lot of times. This match went 22 minutes and 3 seconds. And what?
Which match is this?
Dragunov and Walter.
I just wanted to make sure.
22 minutes and 3 seconds this match won. I don't know how they went 22 minutes and 3 seconds with how hard they were hitting each other. Dragunov looked dead at one point. And it was I don't even know how to describe it. It was a fast-paced, slow match. There wasn't a lot of downtime. It was slap, slap, slap. Someone got power bombed or thrown into something. They would get right back up and just attack. And then it would go to the slow pace, slap, slap, real heavy attacks, attack, bounce back. By the end of it, they were both looking like they fucking had roast beef on their chest.
This match.
Dragunov went over, by the way.
They beat the dog shit out of each other. To the point, their first one, it was extremely hard to watch. I remember watching it at Rob's house, being like, what the hell am I watching? I'm literally somebody needs to just stay down, they're going to die. And the second match was just like the first. I remember Dragunov fighting back with a Fury of chops, Fury of fights. He hits the ropes. Walter with the big chop just collapses his feet, and you can see the bruises. You can see the blood vessels building up in their chest. You can see the bruises on their face. And they did not hold anything back. And it was all beating the shit out of each other to have their dominance known as the true NXT UK champion. This match was beyond awesome. It was fucking amazing. Love this match.
When Dragunov was like backhanding Walter's like neck, and you just hear like, I was cringing.
The chop he gave him off the rope sounded like a gunshot. Like a straight up gunshot.
Yeah. And he died like a gunshot. Like he just collapsed.
Like you don't see that, at least I don't see that often on any wrestler.
So I know Brent has some issue with the ending. I have a thought about it though.
All right, yeah, I'll just say I liked the match. It was definitely brutal. I don't know if I liked it quite as much as everybody else. I think I liked the first one a little better. And yeah, I thought the ending was a little anticlimactic. Like Walter's been champion for over 2 years, right? The most dominant champion I've ever seen in WWE recently, and like he's killing everybody, destroying everybody, and like he kind of like Dragunov just got him in like a choke, and he kind of just like tapped out immediately. I know you said that he kind of yanked him, he was holding him up, so he was like hanging him. I get that, but I still feel like maybe Walter could have tried to fight out of it a little bit more. I know he was like beat down; they just beat the shit out of each other. It's like I get it, but I don't know. For me, it was just a little, I don't know.
He was really getting out of things.
So here's my thought about Walter matches. This is what my thought about Walter matches. I kind of believe that when they book the show, they go, hey, Walter and his opponent, just beat the shit out of each other. And the first one to give up, gives up. And Walter just always wins. And I think at this point, like, this is the worst beating I think I've seen Walter take. Even like, I think he's still undefeated in the Indies. Like, that's how much like this guy took abuse in this match. And to me, I'm like, I was just picturing myself, if I was taking that much damage after not taking that much damage like ever, and then some guy was able to get me into chokehold and then take me off my feet after I'm already like dead, I'd be like, no, I'm done. He like, this guy is bigger than him. He took him off his feet for like 3 seconds. You saw his eyes going, like his eyes like bulged out of his head, and then he tapped, and then Dragunov just dropped him. Just like straight up dropped him. And I was like, damn.
I will say this. I agree about Walter. I love Walter's matches. I love how he doesn't even really have a finishing move. He just like beats the shit out of you till you
Until you
can't
tire out
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say too. Also, I'm happy for Dragunov. I'm glad he won. I do think it was time for Walter's reign to end. He ran out of opponents, so it'll be interesting to see where they go forward. I think probably Teal Man is the guy that they want to, the next guy they want to bring up to.
Or Samoa Joe.
Yeah, I guess
I think
if they
him
want to
and
do a
Samoa
champion
Joe,
versus,
yeah.
if they want to do like a champion versus champion thing, that would definitely be a cool match.
Oh no, I meant Walter.
Yeah, I think Walter would be next for Samoa Joe.
We could see that, but I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to see Walter like anywhere other than NXT UK, at least like for like permanent, because he said many times he has no interest in moving to the United States. He, you know, for a while he said he didn't even want to sign with WWE because of that, but then when they did NXT UK, he was like, okay, I'll do that. But he might come over for a run here and there. They could still do like a program with him and Joe, but I don't think we'll see him in NXT or main roster for long term.
Well, NXT is now going to get pre-taped, so there's more likely of that happening.
Yeah, which are we going to get into that a little bit later? Or
yeah, we can do that once we're done.
Okay.
We only got 2 more matches after this, so
All right.
I'm going to say that was the best match on the card for me.
I'd probably agree, although I did enjoy the Cole and O'Reilly match a lot too, so it might be a toss-up for me.
This match, when Walter tapped out, I jumped out of my chair. I was like shocked. I went into this match thinking that Walter was going to win. You know, I knew they were going to beat the shit out of each other, but I thought Walter was going to go over. Then as the match progressed, I'm like, shit, I don't know. And then when Walter tapped, I'm like, holy shit. Wow, I can't believe that just happened. And like in a good way, I thoroughly enjoyed this match from bell to bell.
I mean, I definitely thought Dragunov was going to win because, like I said, Walter's reign had to end at some point, and they had been building him up to win this match. I felt like, but I also was surprised that he did by submission.
Just like some of the and then we can move on. Some of the slow motion shots of some of the Walter kicked Dragunov, and you literally saw it hit his face, and his neck buckled.
And he was kneeing him mad hard too, in the chest, for real.
And then
stop the guy's heart.
And then Dragunov just he took it, his whole body spun. He looked dazed and just fell. I was like, fuck. And there was a lot, I think they purposely did these slow-mo shots that you just saw full on contact and their whole jaws buckling. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, so next match, 2 out of 3 falls. The undisputed, what was it called? The undisputed match, because it's the last one of they're both 1-1.
I think it's the undisputed finale. I think
the undisputed finale, yes. This was Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly. So if it went to 3 falls, which it did, the first fall would be a traditional match. The second fall would be a street fight. And the third fall would be a steel cage match. The traditional wrestling match, O'Reilly went over after he reversed Sunrise and basically rolled him up as a 1-2-3. The street fight round 2 was won by Cole after he basically suplexed O'Reilly on the edge of 2 chairs standing, and he hit his back right on it. I literally thought he was dead because the way he was selling it, and the medics came in. I was like, oh my God, he's dead.
Always makes me nervous when they do that. You're going to break your back doing that shit.
And then finally, it took a little while, but then the steel cage got put down. They had a match. Adam Cole tied O'Reilly's, he tied him with, handcuffs to the rope. And even though he was tied with one hand, O'Reilly was able to get Cole in this leg lock. It didn't look like a figure 4, but it looked fucking painful.
It was a heel hook.
Heel hook. And Cole tapped out so fast, and the way he sold it, I thought there was something wrong. And he was limping, and you can see him going oh my God. And when the medics were carrying him, I was like, oh fuck, did he really, damn. And this match was solid from the beginning to end. I still like the Dragunov match better, but this match was really, really good too.
Yeah, I love this match. I'm sorry, Brent.
No, go ahead. You go. No, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go say too much about this match. I enjoyed it. There was obviously long history. The build was great. Obviously, in Undisputed Era, how Cole felt like he was the one that carried Undisputed Era, and without him, Kyle O'Reilly was nothing. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I was a little confused at with the ending of how fast Adam Cole tapped out. I didn't give it the thought like you did, Rob, of maybe he's legit injured. Maybe he is. I don't know. I definitely thought it was a little unexpected, maybe a little rushed, but from overall, I thought it was a good match. Now I'm just wondering what's next for Kyle O'Reilly, especially if Adam Cole's gone, because Bobby Fish was released. So
Samoa Joe, baby.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
So I like this match a lot. These 2 guys always deliver. This has been, these guys are like Joker and Batman. It's been going on for a long time, even before NXT. I was actually at Final Battle 2016 where they had a street fight for the Ring of Honor Championship, and same thing. They beat the shit out of each other.
I was at the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom match when they fought each other for the ROH Championship too.
That was the rematch, I think, from that match. It was not a month later.
Yeah.
And I see, at first I thought kind of the same thing about the Dragon and Water match with this one. I was like, ooh, that ended kind of abruptly. You guys are saying, what happened there? But then when I thought about it a little more, I was actually glad they did that, because when Cole handcuffed him to the rope, at first I was like, this is fucking stupid. If you handcuff someone to the top rope, you would just climb over the top rope because the guy can't move. So the fact that Kyle just grabbed him real quick and put him in that heel hook, I was like, that was actually pretty smart the way they did that. So
I didn't even think about that he could have just climbed out.
Yeah. Well, he actually made that mistake earlier in the match too, where he probably could have climbed out, and then he went for the tequila sunrise.
Sunrise.
Sorry, I was talking about Shout out to Conan. I said Tequila Sunrise. But the other thing that was interesting about this match, though, and the whole build up to it is like, this is kind of going back to again what we were saying about how the fans react. Like, the fans are not reacting the way they're supposed to this. Like, Kyle is not over as a babyface. They are not cheering him. They're not behind him. They are behind Adam Cole. So that's very interesting going into what you guys have said about what's next for him, especially if, let's just say, if our Adam Cole is gone, let's goes to AEW, whatever. Even if he goes to the main roster, you know, I don't really know what they're gonna do with Cole. Like, I'm sorry, O'Reilly. They maybe look to turn him heel. I actually think he's better as a heel. I thought he was better in Undisputed Era when he's a heel. He's obnoxious playing air guitar with the belt and stuff. So like, I don't think it would be a bad idea to turn him heel. And like you said, maybe Samoa Joe. Those would be some hard hitting matches. So that'd be cool.
I thought it was awesome.
Dude, your input is
top notch.
Top notch.
I know. I try my hardest. No, I actually thought he did break his back on the steel chair. That I went at that.
I hate when they do that, when they slam each other on the
I
top
cringe
of the chair
every
like
time.
that. Yeah, me too.
The heel hook
It's like
was awesome.
that part of the chair has no give.
No, you're hitting the top of the chair with your spine.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it. I don't know, but
the power bomb on the announce table was brutal too, because that shit did not budge.
It kind of bounced off of it.
Yeah.
Too. No, yeah, but I think it was smart. You know, like you said, you could just climb out and walk out, and he did. And he grabbed him and locked it in right there. He could go for Joe. It could be, you know, him and Joe for the belt, and he could maybe defeat Joe for the belt.
Spoiler.
Or maybe it's call up time. You know, we're getting right around the road to WrestleMania season. So
that's actually an interesting thought too, though, because maybe let's say Cole doesn't resign with WWE, goes AEW. Maybe they just have O'Reilly kind of take his spot on the main roster instead.
Yeah, true. Interesting.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't like O'Reilly's not the star that Cole is.
No, he definitely doesn't have the mic skills or the presence. But he's a great wrestler though, and I'm sure
no doubt
could do something with him.
All right, we ready for the main event?
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross in a singles match for the NXT Championship. This match went 12 minutes and 24 seconds. This was Samoa Joe's first match in almost a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah, and I thought it showed.
Oh, it definitely showed.
Yeah.
I would say about the halfway mark, it started showing. You could see he was getting winded. But before we go there, I just want to say, listen, I understand that Karrion Kross is getting called up. And if you're watching Raw or you watch Raw tonight, you kind of know what's happening with Karrion Kross. I'm not a big fan. fan.
I saw a screenshot. I'm like, oh no.
Are you saying you're not a fan of him or not a fan of what they're doing with him?
What they're doing with him. And I'll explain.
I didn't watch Raw yet, but if you want to spoil it, you can go ahead.
Well, I'll spoil that real quick. They're basically giving him some kind of like armor that makes him look like a gladiator with a mask.
So what is he like, Farouk Assad?
Like he has almost like a Vega, like Street Fighter Vega mask, but more like metal looking, and they're making him look like a gladiator. That's on Raw. But the reason why I'm so confused is because Scarlett works so well with him. Like that helped make his whole entrance, which the entrance made him cool. Then they took her away in Raw. Then they took her away in NXT. Like even coming out, like Joe, yeah, he has a very simple entrance. He walks down, Joe. People were into it. But people were into Karrion Kross's entrance, and he came out, and it was just like she just gave that extra presence to him. And he's coming out, and he almost doesn't even know how to like do his own entrance because he's been doing with her for so long that he almost like lost for a second. And then he came back, and then he was just going rah rah rah. But it was like cooler when she was like mouthing the song and then like climbing underneath them and like all that. And it just, to me, they're slowly like, I loved him when he first came in, and they're just slowly kind of disintegrating his whole thing.
Yeah, she definitely added a lot to his presentation. I read something recently though that she's like not cleared to be on TV. I don't really know exactly what they mean by that though, because like she doesn't wrestle. She has wrestled like on the indies and stuff, but she hasn't wrestled at all in WWE, and I don't really know. So I don't know if that means she's not cleared, unless that's another COVID thing again. Maybe she.
Or maybe she got like a surgery or something.
Yeah.
Like,
So.
Well, she worked a match on main event actually, not like a month or so ago.
Oh, did she? I don't watch main event.
Yeah, and I don't know what. I just read up on that one. I mean, I thought this match was okay. Samoa Joe won as I fully expected because we all knew Karrion Kross was getting called up.
Well, that was the other thing about this match. Like, it was short, and it was kind of, we all knew the outcome, because that's why I didn't really like that they had already called Kross up, because whenever they do that, it's like, okay, now you just know he's going to lose in NXT. Like, you know, it's.
Yeah, and they were already giving him losses even when he had the belt to Jeff Hardy and Keith Lee, which looked like they had no direction.
Actually, he didn't lose to Keith Lee. I saw a couple other people saying that he beat Keith Lee in that match they had.
Yeah, but then he lost again the next week to Keith Lee.
yeah,
they wrestled the second time.
Yeah,
I missed that. I thought he wrestled Jeff Hardy again the follling week.
He wrestled them both.
He had rematches with both.
He's 50-50 with both of them.
Okay, well, yeah, that's stupid then.
Yeah, it's like 50-50 booking. Where's the direction on all this? And he's the current NXT champion who was undefeated for 2 years. What are you doing?
Andy?
So, yeah. This match itself, the ring rush showed on Samoa Joe, and it honestly at times looked like that they didn't really have much chemistry together. I don't know the background or how much experience they have working with one another, if at all. So, but I thought the chemistry was a little off at times. It looked to me.
I thought they had a great match. It was great to see Joe go over and be the first ever 3-time NXT heavyweight champion. It is weird what they're doing at Karrion Kross, I'm not gonna lie, because when he first appeared on Raw, they kind of took away everything from him, like his entrance, his smoke, his mystique, everything. So that was kind of weird. So I don't know what they were doing there. But I mean, they could change it around. Maybe when Scarlett comes back, and then she's like, "Listen, get back to your roots," and then make him a killer again. Maybe, if they can do that, hopefully.
I did read that was their original plan. That's why they had him lose to Jeff Hardy. They were going to have him be on a losing streak and then not start winning till Scarlett came in. But
it's always so great to make Goldberg lose on his first day so he can get a really good streak afterwards.
I guess.
I don't know. It's just like, I just don't know why every time these days, at least, like every time a talent from NXT is called up to the main roster, they always got to go through some sort of change. Like, why can't they just keep it the same? Like, what was working NXT can very well work on the main roster. Why try to mess with it? Like, they did it with Aleister Black. They did it with Ricochet,
Keith Lee,
Karrion Kross, Keith Lee. Like, why make changes that if it's not broken, don't fix it?
You also got to think they're two different fan bases that are watching too. Like you have you have one fan base that likes the particular NXT style because it's different from Raw and SmackDown style. And then when you get to Raw and SmackDown, you have a different particular fan base who may watch NXT, but like, Raw and SmackDown style even better. So, I mean, I could see why they changed them somewhat. I do agree that some of them, they should have kept certain things. I mean, look at when they brought up Wyatt and the Wyatt family. They were just as good in NXT as they were on the main roster. Or when they brought up Aleister Black was just as good as he was in NXT when they first brought him up. So I think it just all depends on like what would work in one area may not always work for the other one. But who knows? Maybe they'll completely change the direction like they did with what's their names? That group.
Dark Order?
That other group. It's led by Ali.
Oh,
Retribution.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's not exactly the same audience, so it might not always work. But my thinking is like, if it worked at NXT, bring it up to the main roster as is, try it out and see.
Yeah,
what
give
kind
it a
of match it gets.
chance.
Yeah, then if it's not getting over, then you can try to switch some stuff up. But like to just change it because, well, we're just going to change it because it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Such good shit.
Esther type deal too. Like you can do certain things on NXT that you can't do on main TV. Granted, NXT is on USA now, but
To be fair, I think that I would say probably 90 to 95% of NXT viewers are probably Raw and SmackDown viewers.
Yeah, I don't think the audience is that much different. I'm sure there's some people that watch NXT and don't watch main roster because they feel like it's too different. They like the NXT style better, but
And realistically, if you look at the ratings for live TV, at least NXT gets about 600 to 700,000. Raw gets about 1.7 to 1.8, and then SmackDown gets about 2.1. So even if you take Raw's number, that's like a third of Raw's normal number. And again, most of them are probably watch Raw. Then the same thing with SmackDown. So you have probably either a third or a little less than a third that watch NXT, who support these people, buy their shirts, and then you push them over to Raw and SmackDown, and they're nothing like they were. And it's kind of like, what's the point of watching NXT at that point? If your commitment and your fan base, and then you become a fan of these people, for them just to completely change from that.
yeah, and that might be part of the reason why the ratings aren't so great for NXT, because some people might feel like that. Like, what's the point in getting invested in these people in NXT and then they don't get a push on the main roster or get used right or whatever?
So let's jump into that, but real quick. So that was the end of NXT. Joe went over, Cross getting called up, and it seems like NXT is changing. So before we call it a night, let's talk about the NXT news and what is going on. I know Andy and I talked about it like a week or two ago, but so it appears that NXT is going to be changing. They are saying that they want guys under 30 who are giants, apparently, no short guys, or the word was midget is what the word was used. It's going to be pre-taped, and I'm just curious how that's going to happen, because Samoa Joe's he's not under 30. You got Tommaso Ciampa, you got Gargano, you have a lot of guys who are not under 30 who are considered short. So, like, how are they going to transition out of that? And it's like, is NXT going to be worth watching anymore if all these changes get implemented?
So it sounds like Vince wants NXT to go back, because for a while there's been this debate now, like, is NXT even still developmental, or is it just like the third brand, blah blah. And now it sounds like he wants it. It wants it to be developmental. We just want inexperienced guys that we can mold or whatever. But if that's the case, you probably shouldn't be on national TV. And that's the thing. I don't feel like USA ain't gonna be happy about that.
They're not. Yeah,
I've
they're
heard some
not.
rumblings like this isn't what we paid for, and like, that's I don't know. It's like you said too. They get Samoa Joe. They just put the title on him. Vince fired Joe, and they only put him back because Triple H wanted him back in NXT. But like, if this is their directive, I don't know what's gonna happen to him. Like you said, Ciampa and Gargano, some of those guys, they, it's definitely weird to see what's gonna happen with NXT coming up.
USA's not happy because they actually want live content, and I know the last couple of episodes of NXT were taped already. And so definitely the network is not going to be happy with that. It honestly sounds like, my headset's going. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can.
Okay. It sounds like Triple H may not be as much in control anymore, because now that Vince and Nick Khan, Bruce Pritchard, Laurinaitis are now getting their hands more and more involved in NXT. It seems by the week. I think NXT becoming a 2-hour show on the USA Network did not do them any favors. It was better when it was 1 hour on the network, because you had more consistency, in my opinion, where you had things that lasted longer, the content was better, it was taped, so this way the writers had more time to have more logical and better storylines, and they did. If you look at the storylines then, you look at the storylines that they had back when when it was live, you can definitely tell the difference. Vince wanted live because AEW was live. And personally, and I could be dead wrong, this is just my own personal feeling, because NXT failed to beat AEW in the ratings on Wednesday nights to a point where NXT was then moved to Tuesday, I think in a way Vince is punishing Triple H because that's the reputation that Vince has, where if he feels that anything on anyone under him failed, they need to get punished one way or another. So that's my take.
Andy?
I don't think it was necessarily punishment. I think that them taming it could be a good thing. Maybe they're going back to well, they'll still be on cable TV, so I guess that's not really it. But I like it. I mean, I do like it live because I think it gives us another feel. Like, you know, you have 3 different brands running live, so it's kind of awesome when you have that like live feeling. Like when you were a kid and you saw Monday Night Raw and you always knew it was live. You're like, oh, that just happened because it was live.
Yeah.
NXT with the changing in the brand, I think that they're gonna keep a lot of the other guys that you mentioned, Rob. And I think that what they're trying to do is move in new talent to work with more experienced talent to kind of rebrand and refresh NXT, if that makes any sense. You know, it throughout the years you go through the changing when they change Raw and they change the scenes and they change, you know, how Raw feels. You had the Attitude Era and then you had the Ruthless Aggression Era. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like NXT has run this one course for so long. Now it's kind of like switch it up and give a new feel for TV. And I think with everything going on with like COVID and like all the variants coming back and like people getting sick, like maybe taping is better because you're able to do things that aren't live but still put out like a quality TV show and like still have quality matches and quality storylines and still give the people what they want during times where like, you know, it could be iffy at any point in time where something could change.
Yeah, WWE has a 40,000 person arena.
Yeah. 53,000 somewhere.
Oh, 40, yeah, 52,000. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it sucks if that's what they're doing and they're kind of getting rid of, you know, older numbers or like different heights because like I remember hearing, you know, wrestling's a circus, you know, everybody likes different things and everybody wants to see different things. And that's what makes wrestling great. You know, you have people like CM Punk come out that get that Stone Cold Steve Austin pop when the glass breaks, you know, and everybody's on their feet and they're crying. You have Becky Lynch coming back that gives that that rock feel. You know, you got Brock Lesnar coming back like when Taker came back as the dead man and everybody was on their feet for it. You know, you have all of these things and it's people want to see different things. So it kind of sucks because it hinders that, but at the same point, you know, it could grow into be something amazing or it could evolve into something even better.
Man, Andy's the forever optimist. The
do,
power of positivity.
I taught them a thing or two.
Word. Is there anything else we want to add to the? We've been going almost 2 hours. So
the only thing I'll say real quick else on that subject is you know, Jason said like, oh, it's Vince punishing Triple H. I don't even know if it's just Vince necessarily. There's a lot of other people. You mentioned Bruce Pritchard. There's a lot of other people that don't want Triple H to take over because they know if he does, they're out of jobs because they don't want Triple H doesn't like them. So I feel like there could be a little bit of sabotage maybe going on there, not just Vince, other people involved in that too. But
True.
at the same time, that's all speculation. We you know, a lot of people try to act like they know exactly what's going on because they read.
Oh no, we don't.
Yeah, we don't. So like, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see, and you know, hopefully it's still good.
yeah.
Word.
All right, guys. I think that's a good conversation. I think we touched SmackDown, we touched NXT, we touched the news, we touched a little AEW. There's a lot of stuff still coming out. It's exciting. We got to see the fallout of Raw if you haven't seen it, the fallout of SmackDown, the fallout of CM Punk. We got All Out in 2.5 weeks. Andy's going to be there, even though he said he might not be there. So he's playing like he won't be in town, but we have to record the podcast that night anyway. So,
I thought you meant he was going to be in Chicago.
no,
Oh, yeah,
All out.
he was like, oh, I'll come to All Out if I'm around.
If I'm in the area, I might not be in the town, Daddy.
Motherfucker, we'll record on Sundays.
I might have to make a town that day.
Okay, all right.
Well, with the beauty of the internet, you can record from anywhere.
Oh, baby. So yeah, we got a couple of things coming up. For the podcast wise, we do have our Suicide Squad or the Suicide Squad review next week. I know Andy and I are pretty excited to record on that one. And then after that, our schedule is pretty open. So we're kind of figuring out what our plans are going to be. We have that podcast idea we talked about last week. Maybe we'll implement episode 1 of that. Who knows? But yeah, as always, remember to like, share, rate, review, comment, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms at Disaster Party Podcast. You can follow me at Rob Cedeno on any and all social media platforms. Andy?
Oh, well, Daddy, you can follow me on all social platforms under Andy Vivians. That's ANDDVIVIANS. Make sure to like, share everything that Rob just said. You'll see some funny stuff. You'll see some awesome stuff for Daddy.
Jay?
Oh, are you pointing at me? Because it looks like you're pointing at Jason.
Yeah, Jason.
Dude, it was great. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I definitely look forward if given the opportunity to be on another episode sometime. And just phone call away.
Right. Brent?
The pleasure is all yours.
All right.
What you did there?
And this is Rob Cedeno.
Oh, well,
Peace
Daddy,
out.
it's your boy Andy Vivians.
And we are out. Bye.